Today we are going to talk about circle relationships. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to find the diameter when given circumference. So we know circumference is all the way around the outside edge of the circle, and diameter is all the way across through the middle of the circle. So we know the formula for circumference given diameter is circumference equals pi times d. Now, all we need to do is rearrange this a little bit to find diameter when given circumference, like we are in this question. So we're trying to get diameter all by itself. So the way we do that is the same way we do in equations when we need to move stuff around. Right here we have pi times d. We need to divide by pi. What that does is these pi's will cancel out, so we can divide by pi over here. So that would tell us circumference divided by pi equals our diameter. And that's all we should have to know at this point in our education. If you wanted to go ahead and finish out the problem, you could. So here we would just take the 15.708 and divide it by 3.14. Now, in all the problems that you're given in 7th grade, you shouldn't have to do this. But if you do, you just need to finish out the problem. The main thing you need to know here is right here, the equation, and how to get to it. So it's the circumference divided by pi equals our diameter. So here we are going to talk about the relationship between radius and circumference. We know that circumference given radius is c equals 2 pi r. We know the circumference, again, is the outside of the circle, and radius is halfway of the circle through the middle. So doing the same things we did with diameter, we want radius all by itself. We're trying to find radius when given circumference. So we have to do what we do with equations. We have to divide by 2 pi, divide by 2 pi. So the 2 pi over here cancels out, and we are left with circumference over 2 pi equals our radius. Now again, at 7th grade, this is as far as you should have to go. But if for some reason that you wanted to figure out the actual thing, you could put the circumference, which in this problem is 15.708, and you divide it by 2 pi, which is 3.14 times by 2, 826 with 2 decimals, 6.28. Now, I'm not going to finish this out because this is 7th grade math. We shouldn't have to go this far. The main thing you need to know is right here. Circumference divided by 2 pi equals radius. So here we are given the distance all the way around the outside of the basketball is 28 inches. Okay, so the outside of the basketball is 28 inches. That is also known as our circumference. Circumference equals 28 inches. Now it wants to know what is the width of the basketball. So the width of the basketball, that would be from one side to the other. That's our diameter. So this is asking for diameter. We know for diameter, when we're given circumference, c divided by pi equals d. So we need to now figure this out. Circumference, it says, is 28 inches. And we have to divide by 3.14. Now for 7th grade, we shouldn't normally have to do this. So to make this a little bit easier, since we don't have calculators, we're going to do 28, and we're just going to divide it by 3. It will get us very close to the answer, and we know it should be just a little bit more. So 3 divided by 2 is 0. 3 into 28 is 9, which is 27. 3 goes into 10 3 times, which is 9, and it will be repeating. So it will be about 9.3 inches. Now, how far would it be from the outside edge to the center of the ball? So that's asking from the outside to the center of the basketball. That is our radius. Now, we know when we're looking for radius, we have to divide circumference by 2 pi. So we're going to do that now. We know that the circumference is 28. We have to divide by 2 times 3.14 to find our radius. So let's go ahead and do that, but we're going to do the same thing we did in the last step. In 7th grade, we don't have calculators. We don't need to worry about the decimals and division. Okay, so 28 goes on the inside. We're going to divide by 2 times 3. Right here, 2 times 3, which is 6. 6 goes into 28 4 times, and that's 24. We subtract, we get 4, add a decimal. 6 goes into 40 6 times, and that's 36. With a 4 left over, I see a repeating, so we get 4.6 repeating. Now this is, again, about, okay? So it's not going to be quite equals here. We're going to say about. So all we need to do is put a little squiggly line. It means about. So the diameter or the width of the basketball is about 9.3 inches, and the radius is about 4.6 inches. The main thing we need to know out of this lesson is how to get to these formulas and how we would set up the important part here. That's what we really need to get out of this. Make sure you know the formulas.